Today's Halloweentoono story is Monster Boy and a Classroom Pet. For as long as he could remember, Marty Unster wanted a pet. But since his parents were monsters, Marty wasn't sure that was the best idea. One time, the Unster's neighbor, Mr. Ree, brought home a kitten. The next day, Mr. Ree's pet went missing. Another time, Mrs. Ippy got a new fish tank. Later that day, all of the fish disappeared. Shortly after that, all of the animals in the neighborhood moved away. Still, Marty really wanted a furry little friend to play with. So, one day he talked to his parents about it. "Mom, Dad," Marty began, "can I get a puppy?" "Yes, of course you can," Mrs. Onster said, smiling widely. "Yes, the bigger the better," Mr. Onster said. "Don't worry, dear," Mrs. Onster said. "If you get a pet, we'll share some of it with you." Marty had heard enough. "Mom," he scuttled, "I do not want to eat the pet. I want to have a pet to play with." Mr. and Mrs. Onster truly wanted their little boy to be a monster like them. But they also know it will take time. "We're sorry, Marty," Mrs. Onster said. "Maybe a pet is not such a good idea." And so, Marty went without a pet. Got to play with his friend Sally Wheat's dog when he went to her house. But he really wanted a furry friend of his own. One day, his teacher, Mrs. Taken, made an announcement. "Children, starting Monday, we will have a very own classroom pet," she said. "It will help us learn about animals." "Hooray!" the class shouted. "I will need some of you to help take care of him," Miss Dakin said. Almost every hand in the class went up. Well, the children arrived on Monday. Miss Dakin explained how to take care of her hamster. She talked about the pellets they eat. She talked about keeping fresh water in the cage at all times. She talked about giving the hamster things to chew and things to crawl through, so it will not get bored. And she talked about the exercise wheel, so the hamster will not get fat. "That's boring," Bart Utley whispered. "Why couldn't I got something cool like a Flygon?" "Be quiet, Bart," Marty shot back. "Hamsters are cool too. Now, class, the first thing we have to do is name him," Miss Dickens said. "How about stupid?" Bart muttered. Marty felt the fur on his back starting to rise. He felt his blood getting hotter. He thought his eyes were starting to bulge out. Marty tried to control a monsterness. "Mistaken," he said calmly. "What about Gonzo?" The other kids seemed to like it. "Gonzo it is," Mistaken announced. Marty looked in the cage. "Hello there, Gonzo," he said. The hamster looked right back at him. "What are you doing, Monster?" Bart said. "Talk about your cousin." Marty was really starting to get really angry. It was getting to be too much to control. Finally, Marty went too far and he said, "Why don't we need to get a classroom pet anyway? We have Marty. We should learn how to feed and take care of him." Marty felt his skin turn blue. He felt his fangs pop out. His ears pointed even more than usual. Marty became a blur. He flew around the classroom, wearing the frightened students and knocked over desks. When it was over, Marty didn't flew anymore. Bart and a few other kids were covered in slobber. Something was missing. "Where's Gonzo?" Sally called out. "Oh no, Gonzo's run away!" Marty's cheeks turned red. He knew exactly what had happened to Gonzo. "I bet the crazy monster boy ate him," Boyce slime. Marty had to think quickly. "Mistaken," Marty cried. "I think I saw Gonzo heading down the hallway to find them. I can find him." "Go ahead, Marty," she said. Marty stepped outside the classroom. Then, when he was alone, he forced a giant, smelly burp. Gonzo popped right out and shook himself dry. Dad, he looked at Marty. "Sorry," Marty said. When Marty returned to Gonzo, he had to save the day. And when he got home from school, he got another surprise. Marty, Mrs. Monster said, we had a little furry friend for you to play with. Meet your baby brother. Taking care of an animal is a big job. Make sure you are ready for all the work before you get a pet. Don't let bullies get the best of you. Tell a teacher, parent, or trusted adult when you were bullied. Count to 10 and calm down when you're upset. Don't eat pets or people, no matter what.